Have you ever watched a calm person turn cold? Not dramatic, not shouting, not angry, just quiet, still, done. That moment feels different. The air changes, the warmth disappears, and you realize something important. You did not lose their temper. You lost their care. When an INFJ stops doing one thing, they become very dangerous. Not dangerous in chaos, dangerous in silence. They do not explode. They withdraw. And when an INFJ withdraws their empathy, the emotional climate shifts instantly. The peace feels distant. The connection feels cut. Today we explore the INFJ personality type. We explore emotional intelligence. We explore shadow behavior. We explore the INFJ door slam. And we uncover why INFJs become very dangerous when they stop caring. Stay with me. This will change how you see INFJs forever. 1. The INFJ personality type explained. The INFJ personality type is often called the advocate. In the Myers-Briggs type indicator, INFJ stands for introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. This is one of the rarest personality types. Rare does not mean superior. It means uncommon in cognitive wiring. INFJs live internally first. They process deeply. They think in layers. They see patterns beneath behavior. They read tone shifts. They sense emotional undercurrents. Many people speak in words. INFJs listen for energy. Their dominant function is introverted intuition. This is long-range perception, pattern recognition, symbolic thinking, future forecasting. They connect dots others do not even see. They understand consequences before they happen. Their auxiliary function is extrovert feeling. This is where empathy lives. This is where emotional intelligence expands. Extrovert feeling makes them harmonizers, peacemakers, emotional translators. They do not just feel their own emotions. They absorb the emotions of others. They regulate the emotional temperature of a room. They sense tension immediately. They try to smooth it out quietly. Most INFJs spend their lives doing one thing. They care. Deeply. They care about fairness. They care about integrity. They care about emotional safety. They care about long-term meaning. Caring is not optional for them. It is natural. It is automatic. It is constant. Until it is not. 2. The one thing INFJs must never stop doing. INFJs must never stop caring. But there is nuance here. They must never stop caring about their values. Their empathy is powerful. But their values are sacred. INFJs are driven by an internal moral compass. They believe in authenticity. They believe in loyalty. They believe in emotional honesty. When they care, they guide gently. They influence without force. They protect without announcing it. They will stay up late to help you process your emotions. They will defend you in rooms you are not present in. They will see your potential before you see it. But when they stop caring, something shifts internally. Their empathy powers down. Their warmth fades. Their patience evaporates quietly. And their intuition becomes strategic. Not nurturing. Strategic. This is when they become dangerous. Not because they want to harm, but because they no longer feel responsible for protecting you emotionally. 3. The INFJ door slam. The INFJ door slam is widely discussed in personality psychology communities. It sounds dramatic. It is not loud. It is not theatrical. It is final. When an INFJ reaches emotional exhaustion, they do not argue endlessly. They do not beg for understanding forever. They do not repeat themselves infinitely. They shut the door. First emotionally, then physically. They detach internally before you notice externally. They reduce access. They reduce vulnerability. They reduce emotional availability. To outsiders, it looks sudden, cold, unexpected. But to the INFJ, it was a long process. They gave chances. Many chances. They forgave small betrayals. They rationalized red flags. They tried to understand your perspective. They replayed conversations in their mind. They looked for alternative explanations. They hoped you would grow. They hoped you would notice. They hoped you would care back. Until something crystallized inside. A realization. A pattern confirmed. And then they stopped caring. 4. Why INFJs become emotionally dangerous. When INFJs stop caring, a powerful shift occurs. Extrovert feeling steps back. Introverted intuition steps forward. Now they see clearly. Without emotional softening. Without empathy buffering the impact. They see patterns of manipulation. Patterns of inconsistency. Patterns of disrespect. They analyze your behavior with precision. They understand your insecurities. They understand your triggers. They understand your weaknesses. But now they no longer feel obligated to shield you from their insight. This is not revenge. It is detachment. Indifference from an INFJ feels colder than anger. Anger still carries emotion. Indifference carries none. When an INFJ becomes indifferent, the bond is already broken internally. 5. The psychology behind INFJ emotional withdrawal. Let us go deeper into psychology. INFJs are highly sensitive personalities. High sensitivity means deeper emotional processing. They absorb tone shifts, facial expressions, unspoken tension. Over time, if they feel unappreciated or misunderstood, emotional fatigue builds. Compassion fatigue is real. Empath burnout is real. When boundaries are ignored repeatedly, the nervous system reacts. The psyche protects itself. Caring consumes energy. Empathy consumes energy. Understanding consumes energy. When that energy is not reciprocated, depletion occurs. At some point, survival mode activates. The caring function shuts down to conserve resources. This is not cruelty. It is protection. In survival mode, INFJs become analytical. They stop fixing. They stop rescuing. They stop over-explaining. They observe quietly. And when they act, it is measured. 6. When INFJs stop explaining themselves. Healthy INFJs communicate clearly. They try to repair misunderstandings. They give context. They offer emotional transparency. But when they stop explaining, the silence is not confusion. It is conclusion. They have already processed everything internally. They predicted your response. They simulated the argument. They evaluated the outcome. They calculated the emotional cost. They decided it is no longer worth it. So they choose silence. People often misread this. They assume the INFJ does not care. The truth is opposite. They cared too much for too long. Silence from an INFJ is not weakness. It is closure. 7. INFJ shadow side. Every personality has a shadow. Carl Jung spoke about the shadow self. For INFJs, the shadow emerges when their core values are violated repeatedly. When they feel manipulated. When they feel emotionally used. When they feel dismissed. Their warmth retreats. Their logic sharpens. They can become detached, unreachable, emotionally unavailable. They stop sharing inner thoughts. They stop revealing vulnerability. They become private in ways you cannot access. This is why INFJs can appear mysterious. You rarely know how much they are thinking. You rarely know how much they have already concluded. 8. The real danger, emotional detachment. The real danger is not aggression. It is detachment. When an INFJ detaches, the emotional cord is cut. They do not chase. They do not compete for attention. They do not attempt dramatic closure. They recalibrate internally. They redirect their energy toward growth, self-improvement, new visions, new people. Once their emotional bond dissolves, rebuilding it is extremely difficult. Because trust, for an INFJ, is sacred. And once sacred ground is broken, it is rarely restored fully. 9. INFJs and boundaries. Here is the deeper lesson. INFJs become dangerous when they delay boundaries. They tolerate too much. They empathize too much. They rationalize too much. They see your childhood wounds. They see your trauma. They see your potential. And they excuse behavior they should not excuse. By the time they stop caring, the cutoff feels extreme. But it was built slowly. Healthy INFJs set boundaries early. They communicate discomfort early. They say no early. They protect emotional energy early. Unhealthy INFJs absorb until collapse. Then the shift feels sudden. 10. Why people fear the INFJ change. People fear what they cannot predict. INFJs are consistent in warmth. consistent in understanding, consistent in patience. So when that disappears, it feels shocking. Yesterday they were supportive. Today they are distant. Yesterday they were expressive. Today they are silent. But inside, the change was gradual. INFJs process internally for long periods. By the time you notice the shift, they already accepted the ending privately. The door slam is not impulsive. It is accumulated. 11. INFJs and emotional intelligence. INFJs score high in emotional intelligence traits. They read micro-expressions. They detect subtle lies. They sense incongruence between words and actions. But they give the benefit of the doubt. They assume stress. They assume misunderstanding. They assume growth is possible. When they stop giving that benefit, clarity sharpens. They see reality without filters. This clarity can intimidate others. Because INFJs remember patterns, not isolated incidents. Patterns. Patterns are hard to argue against. 12. How INFJs protect themselves. When deeply hurt, INFJs retreat inward. They reflect. They journal. They analyze. They refine standards. They do not become cruel. They become selective. They become cautious with emotional access. They share less. They test more. They protect their inner world carefully. Their empathy still exists, but it is guarded. 13. The calm before the cut. There is a phase before an INFJ leaves. It is very calm. Too calm. Arguments disappear. Long emotional messages disappear. Deep late-night discussions disappear. What remains is quiet politeness. That calm is not peace. It is preparation. They are emotionally detaching. They are rehearsing life without you. They are adjusting internally. When they are done, they are done. 14. Lessons for INFJs. If you are an INFJ listening to this, pause. Do not wait until exhaustion. Communicate sooner. Express boundaries clearly. Do not assume people understand your silence. Your empathy is a gift, but it must be protected. Do not weaponize silence. Use assertiveness. Use clarity. Balance compassion with self-respect. The goal is not to become cold. The goal is to remain warm without self-betrayal. 15. Lessons for those who love an INFJ. If you care about an INFJ, understand this. Their kindness is deep, but not infinite. Their patience is generous, but not endless. Their silence is thoughtful, not empty. When they express discomfort, listen. When they hint at emotional strain, take it seriously. When they withdraw slightly, ask gently. Because once they fully detach, reconnection becomes difficult. They do not enjoy cutting people off. It hurts them too. But they value inner peace. And once peace is threatened repeatedly, they choose themselves. INFJs do not become dangerous because they are evil. They become dangerous when empathy shuts down. When caring stops. When explaining stops. When hoping stops. The most powerful INFJ is balanced. Caring, but boundaried. Empathetic, but self-respecting. Loving, but not self-sacrificing. If an INFJ in your life grows quiet, ask yourself something honest. Did they stop caring? Or did they finally start protecting their emotional health? This is brainy touch. Slow growth. Deep personality psychology. Emotional intelligence. Shadow work. Quiet power. If this resonated, reflect deeply. Share with someone who misunderstands INFJs. And remember, the calmest person in the room often understands the most. Stay aware. Stay emotionally intelligent. And protect your energy.